Well, thanks, Chris.
Oh, no, I don't want record. Oh, you're recording.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're recording.
Sorry.
We're good. Okay. Okay, welcome all. Who do we have? We have one on call here. Servant Church, where is that? Anyone there in Servant Church? Okay. All right. We're going to get into our coaching question of this
Servant
month.
Church is in Clark Summit.
Okay. All right. Good. Thank you, Juan. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
And where are you at, Juan?
I'm from Servant Church as well. I'm just not
I
there
see. Okay.
physically. I'm somewhere else today, so I'm just joining in for a different location.
Okay. Great. Okay. Good to have you. So our question is here this month, how do you develop your core team into leaders? So let's kind of go back for those in our previous month. The question our previous month was, how do you enlist your core team and help them catch the vision? Um, have any of you built, I know Brenda, you're not there yet. Juan, have you built a core team yet? As far as a leadership team for Dinner Church, have you started
We
that yet?
I was gonna say we have people in mind.
Okay.
Now have we actually gone to them? Not yet,
Okay.
because my husband and I are still in the works with Pastor Ron and Jamie and actually ironing out, just different things like how this is going to be funded. Obviously the place, etc. So we're still kind of like there, but my husband and I do have, like I said, a little bit of an idea of who we want to ask.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Juan, where are you at in that?
We we have a core team, core leadership team, selected. We've actually gotten together. We actually started doing prayer walks. We did a prayer walk
Good for
after
you.
last in the neighborhood where we feel that he's pulling us towards.
Good for
So we
you.
had a good turnout. We had a lot of some of the elders from the church and some people came out. We did a nice prayer walk. And
Excellent.
we found a couple of possible locations. So we're
Fantastic.
keeping it in prayer and we're working on that.
That is great. That is amazing. Praise God.
Amen.
Okay. Anyone else want to jump in on that? Do you have someone else with you on the call, Juan, from Servant Church?
I'm not sure if they're on. I know I
Okay.
saw them. I saw them on there, but I'm not sure.
Okay, that's fine. All right. So the question for this session then, how do you develop your core team into leaders? So the assumption is being made here that you have a group of a core team group of people that are gathered together to plant the Dinner Church. And so we're just going to look at some roles that you would have in that core team. And it's pretty much simple thinking. And by the way, one person may have more than one role when you start out. You start out usually small. And so you can have one person that might fulfill a couple of roles, but obviously cooks would be right in a hunt there in the beginning, right? I mean, if you don't have a cook, you don't have dinner, you don't have dinner, you don't have dinner church. So there you go. But then there's the setup and cleanup crews, and they would be involved in like providing and arranging like table coverings and centerpieces and eating utensils and condiments and connect cards and literature. I mean, those kinds of things. By the way, the outline is in the chat, right? Jess, the outline for this session is in the chat and will be every time we have one of these Zooms. So, uh, one person we really like is our dessert specialist. And she has some culinary training. We have some of the neatest desserts you ever want to see. They look fantastic and they taste even better. But just the like setup, cleanup, and the beauty of when you get going in this is that you're going to get attendees who are going to jump in and help you with this. That's really cool. They're buying in, they're owning the ministry. And matter of fact, when people come, sometimes teams come to visit our Dinner Church, who are looking to plant one, and they say, "What can we do? How can we help?" And I always tell them, "We don't want you to do anything. You just walk around, ask people questions, observe that kind of thing, because the attendees are taking it upon themselves to do the work, and that's buy-in. That's golden." Um, and then part of this buffet table manager, they organize the servers, keep the food hot. That's a good thing. Portion control, that's an even better thing. You have people dishing their own plates. That gets crazy. Um, Worship, musicians. Um, the Verlon, their dinner churches have live worship. They have a worship person or a team or something that actually sing the whole time during the event. They don't require the people to stand and sing with them. They are just worshiping God. And they like that particular structure. Um, Jess and I do it somewhat different, right, Jess? I mean, we have like a Spotify setup, where we're playing contemporary music in the background, and we do that as they enter. We do that the whole way through the meal. The only time we're not doing that is when someone is sharing that short message. So, um, anything you want to jump in here on? Yeah, Jess, on this?
No, not really. I wouldn't get hung up on the music piece if you're like, oh my goodness, I don't feel like we're there yet.
Yeah.
Start without it.
Yep.
I think of all of the pieces, that's totally fine. If you have people that are gifted in that way, do it. The sound system at the fire hall where we meet is the worst sound system in the world. It's so bad. So it barely is good enough for us to speak, let alone play music. So we do music on special events, but we don't even do a Spotify list each week. So don't let that stop you if that is like, oh my goodness, we
point.
don't have the ability to do that.
Good point. And one of the big things, if you study Verlon stuff, I mean, they have artists, creative people who bring something special to it. 2 weeks ago, we had an artist in, and I talked with him and coached him. He's a Christian, and we discussed, like, I gave him the scripture I was speaking on, and he crafted a sketch to go with that. Now, this guy's excellent with paints and everything, but there's so much you can do in an hour. So he did a black and white sketch, which was fantastic. So we positioned him in a location that he would be very observable, set up his easel, and people were running back and forth to him all through the meal, asking questions. And I coached him. I said, look, when people come and ask questions, share something biblical with them, share the truth of what you're doing. And he just really liked it. We're going to be having him come back. And what we did, we put squares of paper at every table, multiple squares of paper. They could write their name on it, and we had a drawing who would take that artwork home with them. And we put the basket on the table where his easel was set up. So they had to go to him and talk with him. So it was really cool. It really worked out well. And we're going to do that again. It was just really, really added a nice piece to it. And then your preachers. Now, normally, Jess, you do like 8-10 minutes. That's pretty much what we do, 8 to 10 minutes. And all the books you're going to read, by Verlon and by Fresh Expressions and their authors, they really focus on like gospel-oriented messages. We don't follow that all the time, but there's a book even that Verlon put out that's called Story Priority and How to Change Lives Using the 468 Jesus Narratives. And then in the appendix of that book, he breaks down where these 468 stories are found by the gospel and then the chapter in the gospel. So he'll have a chapter and what the story is and where it's found. Like Matthew has 152 stories, Mark 93, Luke 145, John 78. So, I mean, that's what they do. They're really radically centered around the narratives of Jesus. And I mean, how can you go wrong when you're doing that, right? But I mean, sometimes we do thematic things and, Jess, you want to jump in?
Yeah, so when we started our dinner, we did not use a lot of Verlon's training just because I wasn't super familiar with him. So I feel like there are definitely some elements that we do a little bit different. The Jesus stories are one of those. I just recently, since reading his materials, have started using Jesus stories. But up until that point, I was using the YouVersion app on my phone and just using the verse of the day and preaching a 5 to 8 minute message on the verse of the day. And then the people that were more like involved with the message, some of them caught on to the fact that I was using the verse of the day. So that would actually prompt conversations because they'd come to me either before or after the message and be like, "Oh, I know what you're going to I know what you're going to speak on tonight." And it also gives them some extra resources because you can go through, like they have a video, they have a devotion, they have a bunch of things that go with the verse of the day in the YouVersion app, and it's free and accessible to everybody. So that's an option as well
Good,
for sharing.
good. Gerald asked for the name and author of the book, so it's Story Priority. Can you put that in the chat, Jess, please? It's Story Priority: How to Change Lives Using the 468 Jesus Narratives. And Verlon Fosner is the author of that book. Thank you. So we do 8 to 10 minutes. So that, again, the approach in dinner church is the majority of the work happens around the table, the majority of the ministry. So we keep the messages short. Matter of fact, we have a really, really good retired pastor in our church who's an excellent teacher. I can't let him participate in dinner church. He doesn't know when to shut up. I mean, that's just the way it is. He doesn't fit. He doesn't fit our strategy. He doesn't fit, and it just messes up the evening. So it's the primary work. Our focus is around the tables. That's where we're winning people to Jesus. That's where we're making friendships, building relationships. That's where we're praying for people every night around that table. They're the kind of things that really happen there. And then I don't know what you might call them, table friends or table hosts, but our greatest role of the night is, I mean, everyone eats. It's not an us versus them environment. We're not cooking a meal for people. We're eating a meal with people. That's the most important thing. So that's the big thing of the night, and that's the most important thing. It's why we gather. Now, some considerations when you gather. Jess and I were talking about this recently. You might want to think security depending on where you're located. Also, drama people. Can I just say that? People that want to create drama, or people that will drain you. Every pastor knows what I'm talking about. I mean, they will just suck you dry. And we've had people that were going around hitting people up for money. And we had a homeless guy that I really had a good talk with. And you know what? He likes being homeless. He doesn't want to work. He doesn't, he's got a car. He goes from couch to couch with his friends and sleeps in his car sometimes. But I have people from the dinner church coming to me and saying, I think it's a shame this guy's homeless, and trying to put a guilt trip on me. I said, the guy wants to be homeless, it's the way it is. But anyway, security, drama people, draining people. I mean, it's like any other ministry setting, right? So, yeah. Then I have a gospel receptivity thing there, some stats in the outline. I got them from Josh Gehring, and it's just like when you look at the U.S. population, as far as gospel receptivity is concerned, it breaks down like highly receptive is 11%, receptive 27%, neutral 36%, resistant 27%, antagonistic 5%. So a lot of people are open to the gospel. They're really, really open. And the challenge we have, someone's asking about the outline. It should be in the chat.
I'll resend it. I think she got on after I posted it.
Okay. Okay. The outline will be in the chat. It's coming right up. Okay. So the challenge we have, and again, our question is, how do you enlist your core team and help them catch the vision? Our challenge is casting it in a way that how all the important pieces fit together. All the different the cooks and the people doing sediment tear down, how does that all work together? How does that all fit to accomplish our mission? And the best thing you can do once you're really getting serious about launching a dinner church is visiting one. It's just more caught than taught. You have so much to work from once you take key people into a dinner church setting. They just light up when they see what's getting done. I mean, that's what did it for me. I think is what did it for you, Jess. It's just there's so much caught in one of those visits that is just fantastic. So they visit a dinner church, sit them down together and talk about it, discuss it. And then if you haven't done so already, you assign everyone to read the book, Welcome to Dinner Church. That's $9.95. It's not that expensive. It's a short read, but it really gives a great overview of what dinner church is all about. And then as part of your training, the Welcome to Dinner Church DVD, or you can download it as a digital streaming video. That's do you remember how many sessions that is, Jess? No, I think there's like 8 or 10
I can look it up.
sessions. Yeah. And it's Verlon's story, but then it's like what they did, how they approached it, and it's in segments that are like 15, 20, 25 minutes long. And we would assemble our team, we would watch a video and then discuss it. So break it down. What's this look like in our context? Obviously, Verlon's in Seattle, big city, urban setting. We're in our particular church, Newport Assembly, is in a very rural area. So you break it down to what's this look like in our context? How would this fit in our context? And the discussions that come out of that are just so valuable. And what we're doing here is we're casting a vision in such a way that you're not the only one preaching the importance of dinner church. I mean, you have a core team of leaders doing that with you. And that has to happen. It really gets the word out. It gets the excitement going. And it's just very, very valuable. Again, we're looking at how do we get our core team to catch the vision? How do we help them catch the vision? Some key points to emphasize when we're developing leaders. What is dinner church? Is it really a bona fide church plant? I mean, that's how we're working it. We're working it as a parent affiliated church. And it's a church. That's how we look at it. Now we have a mother church. That mother church we use in some capacity because we're close enough that we can. So we use that mother church in a capacity where right now we don't have a good youth kind of thing going, but we can tap into the mother church for youth group. We can tap into the mother church when it comes to other things that we're not strong in yet as a church. And we can get people discipled and make that happen. But in Seattle, in many dinner churches, they are standalones. And they just work around the tables to lead people to Jesus. They continue discipling people around the tables. It's just a totally different concept when it comes to doing church. It's not the only way to do church, but it's a totally different way. And it's kind of going back to the way it was 600 years after the resurrection of Jesus. It's what the church looked like during that time. And they did pretty well, thank you. They won the Roman Empire in a couple hundred years to Jesus. So they did pretty well. So we look at it as a church plant, and to qualify for any kind of district assistance when it comes to finances, it has to be a church plant. It can't be like a Sunday service with a dinner. It's got to be a church-oriented plant. Okay, when we're developing our leaders, and just jump in anytime, or anyone can jump in anytime. If you have some questions you want to ask, or things you want to point out, please do so. And we'll have a Q&A here in a bit. But you want to jump in anytime, please do so. One of the things we emphasize when we're developing our leaders, we are not gathering to point out the sin in people's lives. We're gathering to build relationships. I have a young man in his early 20s who's just in a lot of trouble. He has addictions, gambling addiction, drinking issues, big time. And I invited him to dinner church. He's come every week so far. We have great conversations, but he's broken and he knows it. He doesn't need me to pile on. So I'm just listening to him, and I'm really appreciating the opportunity to get to know him. And he's like an open book. I just love this setting for the opportunity it gives us to minister to people one-on-one. It's just phenomenal. And I have a young married couple that I've been sitting with recently, both totally unchurched, don't know who Moses is, don't know. They are working at the Talmudic University of Miami, Florida. They purchased the former Carson Long Military Academy campus in New Bloomfield, which is a small rural town, smaller than Newport, 6 miles away from me. So they got people training rabbis in this small town, in a rural setting. And this guy works there. He's been working there for years now, I think 3 years. And so he's coming in, he's saying, well, how is this different than what you do? How is this different than what you believe? Man, I'm having so much fun because it's all Old Testament stuff. Because he's saying, man, we got to get the yeast out of the kitchen. What the heck's that all about? And it's all these neat things. And it's just the opportunities that are given with people from all different kind of walks of life. I never expected that one to show up in Newport. I'm just saying, And so we're discussing Old Testament, telling it how it's fulfilled in the New, why we're here, who Jesus is. It's just great. Jess, you have anything you want to share, like examples you might have?
Yeah, I have a lot of examples, but the thing that was coming to mind as you were sharing was Pastor Gary and myself and Manny are all part of Verlon's leadership school. And just this week, he was sharing about the parable of the farmer and the weeds. And that is something that I wrote a note down about, because he was pointing out that sometimes we get so focused on pulling out the weeds of sin in people's life that we also pull out the things that God is trying to do in their life, and we pull out the influence that we might otherwise have in their life. And I wrote that down because that's something that I really want to instill in our team and train our leaders on, because I feel like a lot of times church culture is, all right, come in and now you have to be free of all sin, right? You have to come in and you can't have any remnants of your past life. And I think that sometimes Jesus, actually, I think most of the times Jesus is calling us to walk with people and build relationships. And sometimes that sin has to stay for a little bit until God can root it out, because we can't root it out. That's not our job to root out the sin. It's our job to share truth with them. And then God does the work in their heart and roots out the sin. So I thought that was a great connection to the parable and a great way, as you are developing your teams, to really train them in that, that we're not looking to point out all the things that are wrong with every person that's walking in the door. We're looking to share Jesus with them and build relationships.
Yeah, there was a great point that he made Tuesday night when he spoke. And I wrote this down because I love, they said the God family must be in the rescue business.
Mm,
And that's got to be the focus of what we're doing here. We don't shy from calling sin sin, but a pagan's going to be a pagan.
mm,
I can't expect him to come in acting like saint if they haven't found him yet. But if I'm focused on the seed, and the other statement he said was the wheat, the focusing on the weeds can be a distraction to the gospel.
mm.
And that was gold. I thought that was gold right there. And that's a reminder for what we're doing here as we're working this initiative, is that this is a blatantly evangelistic initiative. We are going to be out in the field. And so our goal can't be on behavior modification. We've got to trust the farmer to do that.
Excellent point.
Our goal here is to be in the rescue business.
Very good point. I remember when I got saved, and I'm just a hippie who got happy. I mean, it's like when I got saved, they were building the church I got saved in here in Newport. I got saved here, and I pastored here for all these years. But I was on the roof working right after I got saved, and I remember a guy underneath me saying, "Well, I'm leaving. I'm not working with no long-haired hippie," and he left. He left the church, and sometimes now, what's neat? Like 4 or 5 years later, he came back and he apologized, and he served in that church till he went to heaven. So that's good. But the point is, a lot of times when people come into our churches, especially today when culture is going to hell in a handbasket, I mean, it's like they come in and they're looking for, or people that have been in the church for a long time they want security. They want a place like where they can get away from all that stuff. And when some people come into church that really are broken, they see them not as an opportunity. They see them as a threat. And it's like they can make comments that drive people away. Dinner church, that's why dinner church is so critical, that we have focused in our minds what our objective is, who our audience is, what we're trying to accomplish. So that's just very important. Any other comments along those lines? Any questions? Okay. I'm not sure if we have anyone on this, like Jess, you had a large group of people when you began your dinner church that were from outside of your church. How did you handle that, and how did you approach that, and what were some of the takeaways from that?
You mean as far as our team goes, or attend?
Yes, as far as your team, developmental team, leadership team.
Yeah, so we had done a food distribution for 6 months before we launched our dinner church, and that drew a large crowd of volunteers who were not from our church. Some of them were saved, some of them weren't. But we opened up training for our team, and like I said, we went through Lee Rogers' book Initiate. I think I mentioned that in past calls, instead of for launch training. For a couple of reasons back then, but we invited all of those volunteers who had helped us to come to, we did 12 weeks of training through that book. And that was an opportunity to really just invest in people, some who were in our church that needed to just go to the next level with evangelism and sharing Jesus, and some of them who were not connected to the church at all. Um, I would say of that first group of people, I would say 80% of them are still with us serving 4 years later. The mayor of our town we connected with during those food distributions, she went through the training and she serves with us every week. We have some neighbors of the church that saw what we were doing and just really loved it and came over and started serving with us, and they now serve with us at dinner on Tuesday nights. So, I mean, you may not be doing a food distribution leading up to dinner church, but I do think that you should be prepared for people from the community to be attracted to what you're doing, because I think that our current church model fits a subset of people's giftings. But dinner church opens up serving areas for people with lots of different giftings. So you're going to get different people coming in. And I treat that kind of the same as I would at church. I'm not going to let somebody speak and share the gospel if I don't know them and I don't know that they're saved. But we have a guy who owns an ice cream shop. It's a seasonal ice cream shop, very well known in the community, not a Christian by any means. You look at his Facebook posts just for the last week, and you will see he is definitely not a Christian. But he loves cooking and he loves serving with our team. So he comes and on the off season, he's part of our team for the entire off season. He's been one of the biggest people to promote our dinner in the community. He posts everything we post, he reposts no matter what it is, concerning serving food. So you definitely get people like that. And I think that people like that are people that we're called to reach as well, right? So our team serving with him in the kitchen, they have more of an opportunity to have conversations with him and influence him than we even do with the people that are attending dinner. So I make sure that our leaders, like our head cook in the kitchen, our head server at the serving table, whoever's speaking, those people need to be mature Christians, people that can speak into other people's lives because we want to keep the culture good. But don't be afraid to include people who are interested in what you're doing, who may not look like the other volunteers in your church. You're muted, Pastor Gary.
Okay, so we're looking for people that can make up our team. Some people need to belong to believe. They really need to feel like they fit in somewhere. And boy, we see that a lot. It's an amazing thing to watch people open up to Jesus as they're working side by side with you, serving in some capacity. So, like, if you're looking for cooks, I mean, we've used people that worked in schools, restaurant cooks, cooks from the American Legion and the Moose. Come on, that we brought in to help cook. And by the way, they may help you to get some kind of donations from those organizations, because all of them do like raffles and bingo and those kinds of things, which I don't think most of us do. But they have to, by law in this state, contribute a certain percentage of their money to nonprofits. And so they can do it. They can donate money to your dinner church to help buy food and any kind of things that you need to make that happen. And if you don't want to take that kind of money, you can send it to me. I will spend it. But you have those opportunities you're reaching out to them, and they like what's happening in the community. They like what's going on. We have people like UPMC and other people stepping up. I know you do too, Jess, that want to get in this because a lot of people from the community are coming in. And Jess, you do something twice a year. We were talking about it earlier. You want to mention that, please, at this time?
Yeah, so this isn't something that we started initially. So again, I don't want you to feel overwhelmed like we need to start this with dinner. But as we met with people on Tuesday nights, we realized that the part of the county that we're in is really under-resourced when it comes to pretty much any food, housing, job, resources. We're right on the border of two counties, and the county centers are like 20 to 30 minutes away from us in either direction. So we really saw a need to bring in organizations to meet with people on Tuesday night so that they could access some of the resources that are available to them. And our mayor played a big role in that too. She was really helpful in making some of those connections. So if you don't know your mayor, I would encourage you to get to know them, reach out and just ask if you could have coffee sometime and talk about what you're looking to do in the community. But we just had a resource fair this past Tuesday night. So we, instead of dinner, two Tuesday nights a year, we do a resource fair. This time we had 32 vendors come in. They were government, nonprofit, other churches, anyone that provides a free social service to the community is welcome to have a table. And then we have a free food truck that comes and hands out food that night. One of our vendors typically sponsors dinner. We ask any of the vendors, we give all of the vendors the opportunity to sponsor the food truck if they'd like to. And every time somebody has done that. So they sponsor the food truck. We had 3 beauticians giving haircuts for back to school. We do a grocery distribution. We have people bring stuff they don't need anymore. And then it's kind of like a free yard sale. They can take whatever they want. But that's a great way to really connect to some of those organizations like UPMC and Penn State Health and the organizations that have a lot of money that, like Pastor Gary said, they have to give so much money to nonprofits per year. If you can connect with them in a meaningful way like that and give them a table, they also have to do so many outreach hours. So if you give them 2 times a year to fulfill some of their outreach hours, I have found that they're happy to support what you're doing so that they can do their outreach hours. I also have some of those vendors come in to dinner church throughout the year. So, like, I had a lady at the resource fair this past Tuesday, and she was from the Get People to Vote organization. I forget what organization it was, but so she's gonna come because like right now is the prime time to get people registered to vote. So she's gonna come one Tuesday night, and I told her like you're not allowed to be political, you're not allowed to be partisan by any means, but if you're just signing people up to vote, I can get on board with that, and you can come and share. But it's a great way to really extend just extend an opportunity to those organizations. And then a lot of times they will invest back into what you're doing, and you're providing the community with much needed resources. We've had somebody come in from Penny, which is like the government health insurance. We've had someone come in during enrollment time and help people enroll for health insurance. During tax time, we will sometimes have people come in and volunteer time to help people get like the easy forms for taxes done. So anything like that, any community connections you can make are great. Also, then when you have somebody that you need to refer to one of those organizations, it's a lot easier to call them and get a phone call back because they know who you are. I don't know if any of you have tried to call social service organizations, but it's like pulling teeth. So if you can build a relationship with them, you are just a lot more successful in connecting people to the resources that they need.
Yeah, that's good. So we're just doing a little dreaming here, okay? It's just looking at potential. What potentially can be done through this ministry. And you know, a lot of organizations, you know, when you mention a single church, they get a little edgy. But when you talk about we're having a dinner every week for the whole community, somehow or other that legitimizes, even though it's a Christian event, that legitimizes what you're doing in their eyes. And I don't know, they're just more apt to participate in it. We just had a family fun day. Our church does that every year, and we had a bajillion different organizations from the community doing that very same thing. And you know, and I had a need from a lady. There are people there from Office of the Aging, and I had a lady that really had some issues, you know, dementia, living by herself, husband committed suicide a year ago, and I didn't know where to go with what's happening, and they really helped me to get her situated. So anyway, Okay. So if you need any kind of help, any way we can help you, Jess or I, please let us know. We can meet with board meetings, we can speak, depending on the schedules, your schedule, whatever. Um, and uh, are there any questions, any scratches that we didn't itch, or any itches that we didn't scratch, is the way I should say it, this morning? Any questions you have that can be totally off what we're focusing on, because we already did that. We already went off the rails. But anyway, anyone have any questions or comments?
I have a question, for
Sure.
those, like Gary and Jessica, you've been up for a while, running for a while. How do you deal with when you initially get a group of people who want to help out and who want to, support, and they come for a couple of weeks and then they start dropping off? How do you deal with something like that? Especially being a smaller church. If you're a smaller church, how would you deal with that?
Jess,
Or how have you dealt with that?
I've been yakking, Jess. You want to weigh in on it first?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we started with a core team that I knew were reliable and were with us. And I think that those 12 weeks of training really helped me to identify who those core people were that I could rely on. And then the rest of the spots, as long as you have some of those key leadership positions filled, like you have somebody leading the kitchen, you have somebody leading the buffet table, you have a couple of table leaders ready to go. I feel like one of the really neat things about Dinner Church is you can pull attendees to fill in some of those areas. So there's been weeks that we've been low on volunteers, and I just pull some people that are there to eat dinner, and I say, "Hey, will you serve with us tonight?" And most of the time, they absolutely love it, and they're like, "Can we sign up to serve again?" So it's been a great opportunity to get them involved. Now, cooking is a little bit different. I feel like the cooking team,
Right.
like you can, I mean, people aren't there yet, so you can't really pull on people. But I feel like also, believe it or not, the cooking team for me anyway, I have found is the easiest place because it's in the kitchen, kind of away from everybody else, and that's kind of where people are drawn to. So I have found myself having to pull people out of the kitchen and be like, "No, I need you to come like talk to the people that are here." Um, so that's what we do. We just fill in the gaps with people who are attending dinner.
Yeah, it's pretty much like any other thing we do, Juan. It's
Yeah.
like we start out with, I think, 15 in our core team. Till we launched, we were down to 12. And the majority of them stuck it out for a year or two. And then some of them went into other things. But by then, new people stepped on board, and it kind of works out. Um, and again, if you're doing it as a parent affiliated church and you have a mother
Right.
church to reach
Right.
into, that's helpful as well.
That's how we're doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, you can go to some people that you know and say, hey, we're really stuck this week here. We really got issues. Can you help us out? This is not forever, but can you help us out? So it's like any other church ministry that we do, right? We have people that stick it out for a while and people that don't, so we're gonna have
Right.
people like any ministry, they're gonna come and kick the tires for a while and take it for a spin, see what they think, and some it'll work and some it won't.
Right.
Yeah, another way
So,
that we get volunteers to serve is we developed a letter and distributed it to businesses in our area and asked them to sponsor a night of dinner. And then their employees can come and serve with us if they want to. It's not mandatory, but a lot of them, if they sponsor the meal, they do come and serve. I've also had high school groups that will come in and help us set up, clean up, and serve. So there's some creative ways that you can get some additional people to help you with cleanup, setup, and serving, and then you can utilize the core team of volunteers that you have for speaking and cooking and the things that you can't really rely on other people for.
Good.
great idea. Thank you.
Yeah, good point. There's a lot of groups, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts. There's a lot of groups in the community that are trying to train up people to be community oriented. And so there's a lot of places you can go. We're starting to we're making a list of different restaurant owners and people that we've already had some people that provided a dinner. They actually volunteered when they found out what's going on. Um, and they provided a whole meal and came and served it. A good promotion for them, really helps us out. So we're looking to go around to restaurants now and ask if they would like to provide an entree or a whole meal or whatever they would like, a dessert. So we're doing that. And again, it's a promotion for people for their business, and it's really helping us. So it's a win-win. Other questions or comments?
I was wondering, how do I find out the closest dinner church to where I am located so I could go visit? I had visited one and it wasn't really what I had anticipated it to be.
Hmm.
So I was curious, where can I find that information?
Fresh Expressions has a map on their website, and you have to kind of really dig into that map. You can burn down through the layers, but they have like a marker for every dinner church that's located. But when you look at it from 30,000 feet, you say, "Oh my gosh!" You really got to go down into it and um, to find out that, or you could probably either email Fresh Expressions. They have a really good response. And you could say, here's my location. Could you recommend a dinner church that's close to me? I think from our standpoint here, I'm trying to think. Tom, can you think of someone that's real close to Brenda?
She's near Pittsburgh.
Brenda's in the Pittsburgh area, right around New Stanton area. Is that right?
Newsstand, yeah.
Yeah. Anything, Tom, that you can think of there?
I don't know who's there. I would imagine right now, um, yeah, checking with John Davis. Is John co-teaching with you guys, Gary?
No, Verlon's teaching us, at least at this point. I think he'll be
Okay.
doing most of the instruction.
Okay. So, yeah, I would just check with Dinner Church Collective and see, or Fresh Expressions, and see who they may know. I will say Allison Park Church is hosting the
Mhm.
conference in November, and that'll be in the Pittsburgh area. But I'm wondering, yeah, I'm not sure who they have. So I will actually, let me give you the contact information for John Davis too, Brenda. I'll put it in the chat feature. And
Okay.
you may want to ask him directly. John's a great guy. He's one of their lead for this, and he knows a lot of people in a lot of different locations.
He
So
does. We also have a guy in Harrisburg, Tom. Who is that guy that's in Fresh Expressions?
Oh, is he the York Haven guy?
Uh, I'm not sure. I thought he was in. No, that's Dan
no,
Altimus.
that's different.
Dan Altimus. There's another guy that's actually he's on the board, I think, of Fresh Expressions.
Also, Brenda, in November, I know that you have mentioned you and your husband are bivocational, but November 14th, our section is doing a sectional event at Pastor Gary's church, and we're going to be doing a mock dinner church during that event. So that'll be a Friday evening. I know you're a little bit far away, so it might still impede on work hours, but that might be an option as well.
Yeah, that's pretty much going to be, well, Tom's going to be involved in that. It's going to be like the intro, I think, will be like a dinner church opening, but there'll be that, I think our theme, Tom, is creative ministries, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct?
It is.
Right.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not limited to dinner
Hope
church.
you have some creative ideas, Gary.
I'll be standing behind you, Tom.
Oh, man. We're gonna all navigate this together. Yeah. So I'll look and see what I can find for you too, Brenda. So I'm posting right now John's contact info.
Thank you guys very much.
Yeah, I just posted John. So he's one of their guys. And you may want to just say, hey, do you know of anybody in the Pittsburgh area? So yeah.
Good.
Because, there's nothing new under the sun. I'm sure somebody out there is doing it. But I don't know anybody. Actually, the Ford City, how far are you from Ford City?
I used to live up that way, so probably I'd say about 45 minutes tops.
Okay. Okay. Well, Craig Riggle is doing it at Ford City. So he's one of our AG pastors. They've been doing a dinner church now for some time. So, Ford City Dinner Church.
That's fairly close, huh, Brenda?
Yeah, I mean, if it's 45 minutes, that's, yeah, New Life Center Church. And, yeah, so Greg, yeah.
Okay, good.
So if you want to reach out to Pastor Craig and ask him about his dinner church, but we just actually opened them as a new AG church, that dinner church, and he had been meeting for a while. So it was kind of exciting to hear. This is one of the byproducts that we're getting is finding out about things that have been in action that we didn't know
Yeah.
about. So
Yeah, we're trying to track those down, Tom, so we can be in contact with them and maybe get some kind of another kind of support group going, with people that are already operational.
it's really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, Craig reached out, and so we're excited about what they're doing there. So
That's New Life Church,
New Life
That's
Center
a
Church. Yeah, Assembly of God.
New Life Center Church, Ford City.
Ford City.
Okay.
Just out of curiosity, that New Life Center Church in Ford City years ago, was it held in an old theater?
I don't know.
I think on 4th Street.
Was it?
I'm wondering if that's the same one. I'm sorry. Squirrel moment.
Good. No problem. No problem. Any other questions or comments?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at his email. He had sent me an email last June who said, we're interested in doing a dinner church in Ford City. So, yeah, but I would reach out to Craig. Let me give you his email in the comment screen as well. So you've got that. Good.
Okay.
I also put the information in the chat about the Dinner Church Summit that's coming up at Allison Park in November 6th through the 8th. There is a discount code for the Assemblies of God that I put in there as well. So if anyone is interested in coming to that, it's a couple of day training event. So if you'd like to come, you can sign up at that link.
Awesome.
Yeah, good. Yeah, Jess and I will be there for sure. So, okay, so as an assignment here, what steps can you take between now and the next monthly meeting to answer the question, how do you develop your core team into leaders? So something you can work on that we just talked about, something you can work on and hopefully maybe report on any kind of progress that you may have made up to that point. And we'll go from there. And again, if any of you need you have questions or you want to reach out to Jess or I to help in any way, please connect with us. And all our connection information is on our on the Google Drive. Go to Pendel.org and then ministries and then church planting and then look for Dinner Church. And we're in there. You'll see a bunch of stuff in there that will help you. You'll see like you'll have Newport Assemblies, our whole process from beginning to launch. You'll see what we did. And again, it's just a template. You don't have to do it that way, but it gives you an idea of things to look at, look for, things to plan. And there's a lot of articles in there and just things that I think will be very helpful to you. So check that out. Okay. All right. Let's pray. And Manny, would you dismiss us in prayer, please?
Father, I thank you so much for our time together, for this discussion and this conversation. I thank you for the burden that you've placed on the heart of everyone on this call to go out and find the lost sheep, to partner with you in what's really your mission, oh God. and to have a small part in this. Father, I ask that we do none of this in our own strength. We don't need our ideas, we need yours. We don't need our words, we need yours. Let us never forget how utterly reliant we are on you, but at the same time, help us to find joy in partnering with you as we're in the fields. So, Father, as we head out and go our separate ways, as always, I thank you. We don't leave your presence, we just leave a Zoom call and reunite us at the appointed time. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you all. Tom, if you and Jess would hang on a little bit. Thanks all for being with us.
Manny, if you have another minute, if you could stay with us too, I'd like to talk to you about the cohort real quick.
Yes, sir. I got about 4
Thank
minutes.
you, everybody.
Thank you all. God bless.
God bless.
Thank you guys.
That's good.
God bless.
So was this past Tuesday your first, the first class? Or
Yes,
the,
indeed.
how did
Yes.
that go?
It was good. I mean, yeah. Go ahead, Manny. You fill
No,
in.
no, I'm sorry. I'm quick to yap. Go ahead.
No, it's good. No, just I've been yakking. You go ahead.
I'm going to be yakking again. I thought it was wonderful. I was more than a little nervous getting started because I've not been in a class in almost 20 years. So, but it really was fantastic and very practical. Verlin really shared his heart. Some of it was some of the things that he shared.